Hi guys, my name is Dan, and this is how to configure your Midi. First, to keep it simple, first things first, Midi track. Got your Midi track, you're using a Midi clip. Don't worry about the input, which is the top two rectangular boxes, worry about the output. So the top, bottom box is where you will select the plugin that you are sending the Midi data through to. Got that? Then select the bottom box to select the Midi channel you would like to use. Then you go to your plugin, select the instrument bus, in this case, that you would like that particular Midi channel to go to, and select it. For second, third, and beyond, if the Midi data is different, you'll need additional Midi tracks. In this case, as you can see, I have a second one here set up. Again, you go to the plugin, the top bottom box, select the plugin, the bottom box to select the additional Midi channel that you would like to use. And of course, as you can see, they're up to 16 available. In this case, I'm using 3, and the notes are varying. Yay, it sounds nice. Of course, since there are multiple instruments here, it is always nice to have multiple outputs in case the plugin that you are using does not contain the satisfactory editing requirements that you want, and you would like to use the host editing software to further manipulate, edit your instruments. In the case of play, if you go to the audio, you'll make sure that usually there's an audio track already available when you first open up a new project, but if they're already taken, you can always just push Control-T to add a new audio track. Oh, and by the way, if you need a Midi track, you push Control-Shift-T to get a new Midi track inserted in there for you, or you go over to the create button with your mouse and click on it that way. But I like using command things. So shortcut keys. Anyways, so the audio, you got to tell it where to accept audio from. So it's the top box. You select that. You go to the plugin. The bottom top box, you'll select the audio output that you would like to use. And in this case, there are 9 different outputs, 1 through 18. Obviously, it's a stereo output, so it uses 2 for each instrument. So, although 9's not going to be enough for a larger amount of instruments, and so in your little mini virtual orchestra, you might decide to group like instruments together on outputs. So in the audio, like I explained, you accept the appropriate output from the plugin that you are using, and then from that point on, you're going to tell that audio track, where to send audio to, out of the track. And you can usually in most cases it'll go to the master, or if you've put a side chain thing up and whatnot, whatever suits your fancy. And in my case, I'm sending it to the sends because I have to split the audio. In my case, I'm recording out of outputs 3 and 4, and I'm monitoring out of outputs 1 and 2. And my mic is going out outputs 3 and 4 to be recorded, so I don't have to listen to myself and the feedback through my monitors. So that's why I'm using return sends and splitting the signal. And it's pretty useful. And just real quick, I'm using gates here to, whenever I play, I flipped this gate here and side chained it to the master, so whenever my instruments are playing, it's closing that gate, so nothing from a mic is going through. That way there's no feedback. You're not hearing the you're only hearing the instruments from the DAW. You're not hearing the instruments through the mic from my monitors, because it kind of sounds weird. And then of course using a secondary gate just to keep the noise from coming in so loudly and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much the gist of it. A quick little real thing here. A real quick thing here is you'll notice it says 2 in front of the play VST. It all has to do with the track position that the instrument is on. If I move it down to 3, you'll notice there's a 3 in front of the name of the plugin. Not sure why Ableton decided to do that, but that's just a quick little tidbit. And and also when I first did this, and this might be for those of you that have just started to use the program, that have just started to try to do this individual MIDI routing, as is custom with most DAWs, when you initialize a plugin, the MIDI clip that you're using is usually going to be on that track. And I was having issues when I tried to add additional MIDI tracks for additional MIDI channels, for obvious reasons, and I, for some reason, don't know to this day why, but after a couple of days after work struggling with this, I finally figured out, because the issue was the MIDI data, even though it was routed correctly, was not triggering the samples in my play library like they do now. And as you can see, little indicators come up whenever there's MIDI. And so I was having the indicators light up like they were receiving MIDI, but for some reason the plugin wasn't actually stimulating the samples to play. It was just the one that was on the instrument track. And for the longest time, for like I said, a couple days, I couldn't figure it out. I just got pretty frustrated. Like I have a fundamental understanding of how MIDI routing works. Even though I'm new to this program, it still should be a certain way. And so just for those of you that are out there that have just started using this program to do this type of thing, if you're encountering an issue where you're adding those MIDI tracks and routing through additional MIDI channels and it's for some reason not working, the thing that I did was just simply to take the clip that was in the instrument channel and move it out. And it fixed the problem. So I was pretty amazed that there was just some weird thing like that, and that's exactly what I did. And then when I pushed play, it all started to work, and I don't know. I tried to recreate the problem. I loaded up a fresh instance, loaded up the play plugin, tried to do this same thing, and it worked. So I don't know if it's just some weird software thing or if it was just my computer maybe, or maybe just my brain. But anyways, thought I'd just mention that real quick since that's a thing. And it really frustrated me, and hopefully it answers a question or a problem for someone else. So that is the deal with the MIDI routing and the audio with live, which is really great and fun and exciting, and I'm glad you watched this far into the video, but not that it was necessary, because I know how it is when I'm looking for information. I want to cut to the chase immediately, and so that's what I did in this video. I hope I didn't stutter too much and I got right to the point. So anyway, appreciate you guys' support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, I usually respond pretty quickly. I'm getting back into this music producing stuff. I was into it a couple of years ago pretty heavily, and life happened. But anyways, lessons learned and all that. I know what I want to do and stuff, and so anyways, appreciate the support, and I'll have more videos coming later about other things that are hopefully useful and informative. Appreciate your time. Bye.